lessons now that have been instilled in me, like officiating. It didn't happen overnight. You know, there were a lot of camps I went to and discouraged and beat down, and you start to second guess yourself. Like I'm not good enough. You know, I can't do what these other people do. I don't have what it takes. If you have that mentality, then you're not gonna have what it takes. You're not gonna make it. You're gonna get beat down on this climb, as you know. There's a lot more of this than this. And to get to this level, you got to believe in one person. And as I've said this before, and some of your audience has probably heard me, the one person listening to this that can help you the most is the one you look at in the mirror, right? So if I wake up tomorrow morning and look in the mirror and say, I can't do this, I can't ref, I can't go handle that coach, I'm scared, I don't want to go to camp because there's 84 of the refs here, I mean, you're not going to be a success. You need to look in the mirror and say, okay, it's you and me here.
All right, so we just touched down here at the Spring Hill Suites in Lynchburg, Virginia. Great city. Had a little 2-hour drive from Greensboro. Went smooth. About to go meet my roommate, Ryan. Hopefully he's not too weird. All right, check this out, Ryan. We got the official Crown Refs Fox 40 whistle box. Take which one you like. We have CMG, cushion tips. CMG. Are you a cushion tip guy or?
I have both.
Okay.
When I'm in the mood for one, I use it.
I think the cushion tip is like a mouth pillow or a tooth pillow.
It's the best. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I call camp season that lead up preparation time in the spring immediately following the regular season, where the shift in focus becomes getting your mind and body in the best shape as possible to attend the tryout camps for the leagues that you wish to work. I always said that your performance in the summer determines where you work in the winter. That's why it's so important to attack these opportunities and always present the best versions of ourselves, which is well within our control. I'm getting ready to attend Roger Ayers' camp, who is a Final Four official from Lynchburg, Virginia, who's been a tremendous and outspoken supporter of Crown Refs. Had just a great feeling about his camp from the second I heard about it. Roger actually asked me to help promote it, so I knew when I had heard that there was a lot of new officials from the Crown Refs community signing up for the camp. That just made the opportunity undeniable for me because it's a chance to meet and personally thank some of the referees who've supported the podcast and have been positively impacted by the Crown Refs content.
Let's figure out where he goes wrong from here.
Nothing. He jumped straight up.
So the leg kick is just the result of initiated contact by red 2.
Yeah.
Right?
You're
So
right.
yeah.
Wow.
I knew that wasn't correct as soon as I, if we have to stop the play and Team B is already down the court, there's a good chance that you're going to get booed out of the gym.
Yeah.
And these are the plays, and I'm not saying this. I'm just saying
like
it
you might
because
be able to get around though, because it was.
why are we trying to get around anything? We don't want to try to get around things that are wrong.
We can get away with it, I meant though.
We can get away with a lot, but it's not about getting away. And what are we getting away from? Somebody yelling at us? See, this is abuse culture just manifesting right now. Like, we say things like, "Oh, it's because to avoid a reaction." You know what I'm saying? But categorize this play type, and you see this on block shots where we have a clean block and then a knockdown, and then Team B has the ball, and then we have a whistle, and then everyone whoa, So this is that play type too on a pass off where we have a steal.
About this actually. Remember the vertical? And remember I was telling you vertical. Sometimes it's hard to tell if they're vertical when the secondary defender comes over and you don't know if the contact from the offensive player keeps him in his place or he jumps forward.
That's why you got to ref the defender, and we had to break it down here, but split second, all right, he's legal. And that was very key information to know, because now we're just looking at 1 second extra of film, and he needs to do something illegal in this 1 second. So I think after we watched it, it was pretty clear that it was just offensive initiated contact.
Yeah.
And try to hold your whistle on those plays when we have a turnover. If we have a turnover right around the time there's contact, you got to make sure it's a home run foul and not something small, because those are big momentum shifting plays. Yeah. It's like, Team B is about to get the ball on a fast break, and then we call something cheap. The temperature of the game rises in those moments because of the emotional swing involved. That makes sense?
And they start looking at you like this, and I screenshotted this on purpose. I get this a lot. Stacked, yes. And so when you have, this is a two-person game, of course. Where would you want to be positioned on this? He's kind of on the wing, so you don't want to go too far down here, but you don't want to be too much on the court either, like this.
Yeah. There's no absolutes, man. Sometimes you're going to have to go a little bit further than you normally would in trail. Sometimes you got to take a step up, you know. The most important thing is you go anywhere but here. If you want to go 3 steps north, that's fine. You'll be able to see in between the point of contact. You want to go 3 steps south, you'll see the in between the point of contact from the opposite end. So it's not necessarily should I go up or down here.
Most non-officials have no understanding of the difficulty and level of dedication and practice that it takes to even be considered a good official. Just to be good, you have to do and know so much, so it becomes a lifestyle when you leave the floor, practicing your signals, studying the rules, discussing plays, working out. But one of the aspects that we all love is the pursuit and the process of trying to become a great official and giving back to other officials, as that's what you're about to see here with me and Ryan as we get into a one-on-one signal school session.
Show me a push.
Push. White. 22. Push.
You're going here. You're dropping the elbows, bringing them back too much. Step, push.
Step. All right. White. 22. Push.
Better. You're a little rigid with the numbers. Remember the rectangle. Rectangle. Put a rectangle right here.
Right there.
Now pop it through the rectangle.
There you go. There you go. Let's do a different number. White. 11. Push.
When we do the push, let's have the closed fingers. I don't like any loose fingers. It's like having an untucked shirt, right? Like I liken that to the pinky that's out or the thumb that's out, and we even see it in the push there with open fingers. What do you think looks better, the open finger push or the closed finger push?
See, I was having debates. Like I'm
Let's
looking
talk
at
about
my mirror. So if I ever want to switch it up and like say, I know you've done this before, when you do the push a little bit to the side sometimes, just to get a little variety. It looks better sometimes with the open, just because it just looks more realistic than this. That's just my opinion.
You got to find what works for you. If you think it's like trying on clothes, you know, like you just tried this on, you're like, oh, this looks better on me. It's up to the individual to figure out what looks better. I always just recommend keeping it tight and keeping it compressed.
Yeah.
So, show me your hand check again.
Hand check. Here we go. White. White. 22. Hand check.
It's a little safe. Like you're overprotective of your off arm.
Okay.
So when you're here, just
do a little step with it too.
I like a step.
Like step.
That's good. Do you feel a difference with presenting like the higher hand check versus just like the one you see in the book where it's just very soft and it's like a touch foul? It's like this is the touch foul everyone hates.
Yeah.
And when we raise it up, almost like I think there's a call in football where it's illegal use of the hands.
Yeah.
I just copied the NFL official where he's like, here. I'm like, wow, that's actually a really good hand check.
Yeah.
Let's incorporate that with the hand check. And the hand check is really the just a one-handed push. So that same movement you do with the hand check, now we're just doing it with 2 hands.
Yeah.
And vice versa, when you're in your push, you can just convert right back to hand checks to one-handed push. The only difference is the offhands on top.
I'm re-looking at it now. This actually looks kind of.
That looks way better. In my opinion.
I have small hands, so it just looks weird sometimes.
Small hands and height does not play a factor. Short height. I was just clipping a video on my way here. He was like, I'm trying to improve my court presence. And he was like, I spoke to a clinician and he said referees that are shorter struggle. It's harder for them. And I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah. Why is he telling you? This is just one person telling you that because you're short, it's going to be harder. What's the height limit to rep?
Even Tyler Ford right now.
I know. And we spoke about that on the podcast. I asked Tyler about that because I wanted him to speak upon it. Because if anybody better to do it, it's him. Yeah. So he's defied all of that. And there was nothing for him. And, it's not like a roller coaster ride where you have to meet the certain height limit. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about posting up. You're not a player. You're not playing on the block. So referees should not be worrying about height.
Yeah.
What else? What else you want to work on?
Mike Breen's going crazy over here.
What's Mike saying?
He said 3 bangs in a row.
Bang!
I don't know.
Mike Green's from Yonkers.
Oh, yeah?
Used to be a ref, too.
Oh, really?
I think he used to be a ref. That's what I heard.
He still does the Knicks games, I think, too.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the other thing?
I don't know. Whatever you want to work on.
Oh, yeah, it's travel.
Oh, show me your travel. Your points look
last
low.
time, yeah. So we had tweet and then we had travel. So what I do is I kind of lock out my lats. So just kind of remember I had the droopy.
Yeah, oh yeah, the droopy travel.
droopy travel.
Javid, my boy, had the droopiest travel of all, and I made fun of him for 2 years because every time he blew the whistle on a travel, it was, and I would look at him like wiping my tears, like, bro, your travel is depressed.
Yeah.
So like we should not be bending. So it comes down to tactically not bending your wrists, right?
Yeah,
keeping those straight wrists, just like you would present an arm bar.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's the travel.
So what I kind of did was I kind of like clenched my fist like I was punching almost, and then so it just reminds you, all right, lats out, clenched fist, and then elbows, bam, and then just get the point.
Tell you, man, this kid. We did an IPR for you, what, 3-4 months ago?
Yeah, 3 or 4 months.
You look super sharp from last time. I'm loving that travel, loving the point. Show me that point again.
You're gonna point this way, tweet, and here you go on the side. There it is.
Let me ask you a question. How many revolutions is a travel signal?
3.5.
My man. 1, 2, 3.5. All right, so what else do we want to work on? We're here for this vlog is called Camp Chronicles, so we're going to be documenting our experience this weekend, you know, going and coming from games, interacting pre and post. Hopefully we'll feature some other refs throughout the weekend, you know.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to think of while we're in our content zone?
Let's see. I think not right now.
Not right now.
Oh, you're gonna get blocked. Oh, yes. I got the offensive. All right, so I was at Blinn, so I got to use some college mechanics the other day, and I I like my offensive foul call for men. So I went tweet offense, and it went just like that.
Love it.
And then and also, what is your opinion on the punch? Because I like to use the punch in high school, like tweet offense.
Is that legal?
I wouldn't say it's not, but
Well, they're getting rid of the punch.
They are.
I think.
They are.
I don't know if is it for next year or the year after.
I don't know, but I used to
21, 20, I think it's 21-22. So I think next year they're lining up the rule just like with the NCAA men's, where they don't do the punch now because the punch confused coaches and players with the score it signal. There was a few examples where, you know, an official, everyone thought it was a charge and the official was scoring the goal. So they're like, all right, we have to differentiate signals. But I was telling referees for a long time, they got rid of it in college. It's going to trickle down to the NBA, to high school. So high school officials out there right now, just discard it from your repertoire because it's coming. And I know a lot of referees build that muscle memory, and it's their favorite call of all time to just come up and punch as hard as you can.
I drag the back foot too, and make it all like
you're a back foot dragger.
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm not mad at you for that. So my thing for you is just eliminate it. The rule book is not going to have it in there, so you know we can't get emotional about calls or have opinions about rules. The rules are written as is, and unless you want to write a petition to change the rule, don't have a negative or strong opinion about it. Just call it as is.
So what would you do to make it look good? Because I'm right, the book has tweet. Like that's basically what the book says.
Well, the problem with the book is, this is why referee content, and that's what I'm trying to do, is to be modernized and updated. So the book presents still images. Still images. I get one image, what the signal is. How did I get there? What did I do to get there? So this should be a video. They should have instructional signal videos, which we don't see until Crown Refs puts it out on Patreon. Check it out, it's coming soon. No, but seriously, we know where we ended up, but how you get there, that's up to the official, and that's where the art piece comes in.
Okay.
That's.
So I think for me, if I'm at the trail, I think it all like if I'm at the lead, I'm doing the punch. That's just me. But when I was at trail, I had a little bit different. I would do tweet, and I'd take a step or two, and then just present it like that. Yeah. Because that's what the book said. So I had a little bit of a little pizzazz to it, just to.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually have a new show coming out called Coach D's Court, and in episode 1. I talk about the player control foul, and I talk about the 6 different locations on a half court where you will call it, right? We have trail on the left side. We have center on the left side. We have lead on the left side. And then the same thing on the other side. Lead on the right side, center on the right side, trail on the right side. And the reason why I differentiate all those different locations is because you're standing in a different position. And that means you're going to present differently. If I'm in lead, I'm presenting forward. I'm just stopping the clock, and all my movement is forward. If I'm in trail, now my body is positioned sideways. So there's going to be a little bit different footwork, a little bit different movement to get into my charge call. So I think it's interesting to note the 6 different positions. And, I think footwork plays a big key in this. We don't talk about footwork a lot. I know you said Scott Foster has great footwork.
The go to footwork.
The go to footwork.
That's what I call them.
I like that. But yeah, we want to have that athletic look and have just be light on our feet.
Mm. I think one of my mentors was saying the shirts.
I thought I was your mentor. What the hell's going on?
I said one of them.
We're good.
He was telling me that one of the shirts don't make us look athletic.
What shirts?
Not the NCAA ones, but the ones we have, the straight stripes.
Yeah, I mean, they're old school looking. Yeah. I was happy when the NCAA updated their shirt.
Those are
went more NBA. It's just a modern look. Yeah. I think college. High school should do the same. In this way, we can have all different uniforms. Yep. High school, college, and pro uniform. But good stuff. All right. We'll be back.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Crown Refs Podcast. Serve the game.
You heard the slap? Yes, coach. I heard the slap, but we don't ref based on sound. It's a real thing.
Yep.
And this is clean, baby. That is clean.
Yeah, let me pull that back.
So what you're doing right here is you're reacting to that reach. You're reacting to the overextension, but don't react to the motion or movement of a player. Like, for instance, a coach was like, ref, he's reaching. I said, a reach does not speak about contact. It only speaks about an arm motion, right?
Yeah.
So an act of a reach is just me reaching, does not mean I'm illegally contacting you. So I just think you're reacting a little bit to that initial interaction, that contact. We just got to let it play out. You got to give that an extra second, because if you give it an extra second, then the play winds up with B1 pushing down on the ball and taking the ball.
Yeah.
And it's clean.
Yeah.
So what was the reaction after the whistle? Anything?
No.
This isn't the type of setting you're going to find. This is a tryout.
I mean, because players don't really know, because he hit his hand, right? So players don't really know that either. Because he thought, I hit his hand.
Right. Yeah, and that's something I tell players too. This past weekend, I had 2 instances where there was significant hand contact. It was like a slap.
Yeah.
But I said, a hand is part of the ball. It's not a foul. Mm-hmm. It's a high five. A high five is not a foul.
Yeah.
On the 3-point shot where I'm jumping straight up, you're jumping straight up, and we're literally just meeting. High five. It's not a foul.
Yeah. And then remember, you seen that James Harden when he made that shot over Draymond, Clay, and all of them at the buzzer a few years ago?
I don't know. I got it.
He was like, Harden for 3, bang, and they won it right before, I want to say right before overtime, and that was the same thing that happened. They're like, oh, and he got fouled, but Draymond actually, now I know the rule, Draymond, they locked hands like this. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing, I'm thinking, since, what about, locking hands?
That's not basketball play. That's just accidental.
It's accidental, okay.
There's no locking fingers.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, the boys are up from their beauty rest. Did you have a good night's sleep?
Yes, I did.
Go get you some eggs.
It's eggs and bacon, hopefully.
I need you to get a well-balanced meal in. Get your fruit in. Get your protein in, so you can be ready to rock. Okay, Ryan, you got to meet 𝘕𝗵𝗵𝗃. What'd you think?
That was crazy. He just walked right there, hey, Mr. Batista, and I was like...
Look up his stats?
Barely.
Where'd he play?
I think he played at Washington State. So he was or Pac-12.
Ryan is getting blocked from shooting influencers on Instagram.
Yeah, it's funny. I had to go on this Twitter and unblock me, and all my friends were liking my Twitter or my comment under one of his posts.
Listen, we always have to be the bigger person. So if you're sliding in DMs dropping negativity, then I would block you too.
I just told him that he should become an official, and we need some great people, because he was saying in one of his comments, he was saying that we need more players to be officials, and I was like, well, here you go, here's your opportunity.
That's the big, I think, funnel for officiating to really take that next step, is to somehow start a program where we can kind of get players to become certified. Like maybe offer an incentive, like you get a free certification to the ref class if you're a former player. I don't know, but I think that's the biggest untapped market of officiating, and a way to get younger very quickly. You know?
I know, like in my organization, TASO, one of their initiatives when I first joined was coaches get your players in officiating, like your seniors that aren't going to play at the next level. I thought that was great, and I always tell my friends, I was like, man, just come referee. You don't like it, I mean, you don't have to do it the next year, but just come try it out for a season.
Yeah. On a smaller note, I like what that coach did. Like I'm sure each college has camps that they have little kids coming to, and most of the time the players are going to be the refs, but it would be nice if they went in and tried to learn a little bit and kind of take away some things in order to apply it to their careers as players.
See, when I played in I play in rec league still, my defense has gotten a lot better because I know it's illegal, and I can get away with some stuff because I'm an official. Like I know the rules, and I know it, where some certain blind spots are. I mean, it's easier. Like I know Kobe Bryant did it. Kobe Bryant went and studied officials, so he would know where to get away with stuff, and it helps you with your game.
Listen, I commend the fact that you've gotten better as a defender, but you're still not stopping me. The game of jump shot 1-1.
PJ Tucker, I rough you up.
I don't like playing against the PJ Tucker type. You know the type who just hustles way too hard, commits more fouls than they're allotted. the type that you can get hurt playing with.
Oh, that's me.
All right, where are we going? You have to tell us where to go. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going. I just pulled into Liberty University. It's quite a big university. So find out the center that we have to meet at.
You know the lights are still on right here?
I do.
Did we leave them on last night?
I don't care. It's a rental. And the car is turned on this morning, so we're good. I'm still upset at this rental for not allowing me Bluetooth access. I tried to hit add device, but they're all filled, and there's no way to delete them. So yesterday I was driving 2 hours listening to my headphones.
I think the gym's back there, they said. So many emails, I gotta find it.
There are a lot of emails.
Okay, I hear this one.
Mike was getting real trigger happy with those plays. It's great though. Let's talk about that dynamic, and that's one of the reasons why I came down here too, is because I knew there's gonna be a lot of connections that I made online that now are in real person.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know,
how many times you're online and I see you at a camp. It's really weird.
I know.
But you do put good content out, man.
I appreciate it.
I listen to it every now.
When did we first get connected?
Maybe about 6 months ago.
Okay.
Maybe a year, about less than a year.
So fairly recent.
Yeah, recent. Yeah.
Man, I feel like a celebrity down here.
Listen, I'm trying to get back to the game in a big way. In a really big way, you know?
No, it's smart because a lot of guys you never seen a referee in
I thought Roger's opening classroom session was outstanding. He's an extremely charismatic guy, and that's just one of the reasons why he's a great teacher of the craft. I didn't get a chance to document his speech, but following the session, I did meet up with 𝘕𝗶𝗆 from Houston.
I think my kids know you. Yeah. Sitting in the living room. Like, Daddy, watch this guy. I was like, that man. That was good to learning a lot. So when we're sitting there watching clips or watching the interviews or whatever, watch them taking a shower, they're like, what's your problem? like, I always look for people that give information, to be honest. Like your interview with Mr. Pete, that was all good stuff. Mechanics came.
Right.
I was like,
that was a good dynamic that we had early on. He was really like seeking out information and kind of getting an opportunity to teach. So you've been locked in for a while now.
Yeah, the shop.
Day one, the shop, basketball shop.
Watch it every time. And your little mechanic tips, man, they help you. Like me and my buddy, like this is our third year this year. And I was telling him about you. I was like, no problem. And then we're looking on the roster. He was like, did you look at the roster? I was like, nah. He was like, check it out. And I thought he was talking about you. I'm scrolling down. I was like, oh man, Paul's on here. I was like, man, I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm going to say what's up.
Hopefully we get a game together. We'll definitely connect. Phone numbers so we can go back and forth any questions.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You pumping up? Pre-game pump? You look a little swole. There you go. How we feeling, Jake?
Feeling good.
Talk to me.
First game. Unfortunately, we didn't get more, but I'll take one tonight, and then hopefully get two tomorrow.
I know this camp is a little different. This is only 4, so.
Yeah, depending what camp you're at. Instructional camps usually get 6, but I'll take 4 to get more video, learn how to break down the film, so it'll be good.
What other camps you got lined up?
Other camps, I'm going to Donnie's in July at 𝘁𝗵𝗄𝗃, and then I'll be doing Larry Last July 17th and 18th up in Springfield, Massachusetts.
And which level are you working now?
I'm doing high school varsity in Division III.
Awesome.
To be in the ACC and the Big East and the Big 12, I get to go to these arenas, and I never dreamed I'd be doing what I'm doing and getting to go to these cities and travel and Maui and Madison Square Garden. And I just got in this to do rec ball on Saturday mornings, and I look around. Sometimes I pinch myself. I hear people say, "You're so lucky," and I go, "You know what? They're right."
Aren't you glad you listened to your dad's advice on the ride home of that
No
first
doubt.
camp? Oh boy, Ryan, wearing his glasses, recording the game, gonna watch the footage after. He's in a league of his own, 19 years old. Told him he's got to get used to making mistakes. There's gonna be a lot of them, and it's gonna be up to his mindset to filter out the negativity and just look at it from a learning point of view. Doing a great job.
They might foul. They got in the penalty at all.
They might count. How many more times do they count?
They can foul 3 more times.
One of the really cool and unique things about this camp was the career diversity of the officials on the roster, meaning you had a wide range of talent from Division I, Division II, Division III, junior college. There was FIBA officials there, NAIA, men's, women's, junior varsity, 2 very first-year officials. So that created a great dynamic and a camp culture that was really fun to be around.
My name is 𝘁𝗵𝗵𝗹𝘀. I am a 3rd-year official out of Knoxville, Tennessee. This is my 2nd camp of the summer, 2nd camp ever. This camp has been very informational. I have learned terminology that I honestly didn't even know existed before this camp.
Mr. Darren Drake, how are you, sir?
Doing well. Just coming off the game.
Nice. How'd it go?
Went pretty well. You know, this is camp, which is always fun and challenging at the same time when you get lots of different information. So we're talking about the little skill stuff. So like the conscious mind is really like, you can think of it as like a sticky note. You can really have one thing at a time that you can focus on. The trick is to take these new tips and turn them into habits so that you go on being put into your subconscious. You think of your subconscious as like a supercomputer where many things are happening behind the scenes that you don't have to worry about, and they just take care of themselves. So that's what we're here. We're just trying to pick up these new habits and put them in our game.
It's a pleasure meeting you in person. I just want to personally thank you for your contributions to the podcast. And it was right around that time I started to really focus on mindset. So you helped inspire new thoughts for me. And I've been on kind of a mental and emotional journey since then. So anything new you've been thinking about lately that's maybe we didn't discuss on the episode?
Not really, just for myself, just implementing and having a routine with all these things. And I find that just these small incremental changes add up into bigger things. So if we're taking care of the small things and then the bigger things. So I think it really applies to fishing and life in general.
Hope you have a great rest of your camp, and look forward to seeing you work. Hopefully we get a game tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to meet you too, Paul, and appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Crown Refs Podcast, the audio experience for basketball officials. Serve the game.
You have a passion for what you do. That's why you're one of the best at it. And that's why people enjoy listening to your podcast, because the energy you bring and the things you do to make us all better. Like, say, what are some of the things you do? I listen to Crown Refs. I listen to what Paul does because I'm one of his biggest fans, and I hope you guys pick up some great tips here. If you ever need anything at all, Paul has my contact info. He'll get it to you. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And let's go, Crown Refs.
Mr. Ayers.
Paul, thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure being here. I felt like, first of all, thank you for the episode 100. That was amazing. Hey. Truly one of probably the best episodes we put out. And I felt like a great connection with you. And that's honestly partially the reason why I'm here, is to continue to further this connection, but experience this great camp that you have going. And I was just telling Mike yesterday, one of the differences from this camp to other camps is, as soon as it started yesterday, you went and shook every single person's hand. Mm-hmm. And that's something that you don't see, and It should be common. So I just got to feel right away that this camp is different, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
Thanks for coming. And I had so much feedback from that episode. When people were emailing me, texting me, people I didn't even know, and say, Roger, I'm so glad you did the episode on Crown Refs, because I listened to just one thing you said, and I tried it, and it worked. And just that's kind of like yesterday you talked about shaking hands. As you've seen at this camp, I teach a positive message. I think if you're a good person, good things are going to happen to you in life. You don't have to be a jerk to be an official. You don't have to be a jerk in life. Mm-hmm. You know, and some of the things that's helped me be successful in officiating is I like to think that when coaches see me on the court, they're like, you know what, I don't like every call he makes, but he is one of the good guys. At least I can talk to him and communicate, and that's why I'm helping out your officials that listen to Crown Refs. I'm like, you know what, if I can just help one official maybe this upcoming year on a cold Friday night in January when they have a play and they think, Roger Ayers should try this, and they try it and it works, they'll be like, I'm glad I listened to Crown Refs. That one tip he gave me, it works. Because the successes I've had in officiating are all because of things not only I've learned by reading the rule book, which is extremely important. It's the stuff I talked about yesterday. It's the things that aren't in the rule book. It's real world things and how you handle officiating and how you handle people. At the end of the day, officiating is a people business. If you're a good person, you can deal with coaches, but more importantly, if you're a good partner and people want to, as I said yesterday, if they want to work with you, and people listen to this topic here we're talking about, as I said, don't be a jerk. Be the guy everybody wants to work with. Bring your partners up, because at the end of the day, when the game starts, that's all you got.
That's it.
You know, so I'm a big fan of Crown Refs. So, and what you do, you've helped officials tremendous. You have no idea how many people are here at this camp because of that episode.
That's awesome.
And people tell me, I say, well, how did you hear about it? And they go, Crown Refs. You know, Paul, I listen to his episodes, and I want to be a part of what you're doing. And I told someone this morning, there's 85, 86 people here. If I only help one or two, if it gets through to them and it helps them not only in officiating but in life, like the positive videos we're showing, the message we're showing, this camp is a lot more than just X's and O's and where to stand and lead and where to stand and trail. I could take anybody off the street here today and say, I want you to go stand on a basketball court at the free throw line extended, and it's going to be called the slot position. You just stand there. That doesn't make him a referee. And there's a lot more that goes into it. So I've been very lucky.
And there's real culture that you've established. It's like a family kind of environment here. And I know yesterday you were saying there's no pressure. And a lot of times when you come to camp, you do feel a little bit of a pressure, you know,
Sure.
A lot of eyes on you. But it's for you to instill that in officials. Just come out here, work your games. This is a learning, instructional type environment. And it's been amazing to meet so many people from the Crown Refs audience that,
Sure.
you know, I'm able to connect with and meet in person. That's where the internet meets real life. So that's pretty cool, you know.
No doubt. When this camp came about, it was late because of COVID. It was 6 weeks ago. There was no camp. There was nothing planned for here. And Mike Eads, who we used to have the camp with, called me and said, Roger, I can't do it due to my SEC job now, but would you consider doing it? I went, Mike, you can't. It's hard to put together a camp in 6 weeks, but with video, the internet, the Crown Refs, the 𝘁𝗵𝗆𝗏𝗍 of the world, the people I spoke to, the podcast I did last year, your audience I reached out to, so many people came here and said, Roger, the only reason I'm here is because Crown Refs, and I heard your episode, and you said a couple things that really resonated with me, and it wasn't so much, I can read so much in books, but I need to see it. I need to know that it actually works. You know, in some of the games you work, I see you talking to coaches, and They may be upset, but by the time you're finished, there's a little smile on their face. I want to pick your brain. What are you saying in those situations? Give me a few tips, because officials are so hungry. They want to move up, and if you could just give them a few tips, because there's a lot of people here at this camp who have great judgment, who run like a deer. I mean, they're not as fast as you and me, but they run good, but they don't have that, what's holding them back, that extra. You know, how to calm down coaches, what to communicate, you know, how to watch, like 𝘊𝘰𝘆𝑚 doing a video, how to watch video today. All those things go into what makes you an official. I'm from Boston, or I guess Braintree, but technically Boston, because everyone says they're from Boston when they're from Massachusetts. I'm a fifth year, finished my 5th year doing high school basketball, 3rd fully doing varsity here at Rogers Camp, just to kind of learn and trying to get to the college level next year. The second I found it, I'm like, why hadn't I seen this before? It was kind of just like stuff you don't see unless you like really reach out for it, which I think is kind of tough, because as a younger official, I was like, I can't learn unless I go from experience, and like I want to hear from people who have gone through what I went through. And I think with your content, it was just like instantly, I'm like, I recognize exactly what they're talking about, and it relates to me.
Where you hear one thing while you're driving to a game, you're like, wait, that happened to me yesterday.
Exactly,
You know?
like, and I can take that into my game, and like, oh, he had this situation happen where I'm like, in my head in the game, I'm like, shit, I just heard about the situation. I kind of know how to handle it. Let's implement it and see how it works. If it doesn't work, I don't use it again. If it works, I put it in my head and just kind of keep using that, especially with the coaches. I think that's what I've learned the most from your stuff, is just communication.
Second half, we have a rebound. Big guy gets it right here, held his arm, got a hold, and boom, WWE. Let me replay this real quick.
Got drama?
Yes, here you go. Here's the guy with the ball. Hold. Boom!
Oh!
So I call
That was some UFC stuff right there.
So I call it a flagrant technical foul, and I just left the scene.
Rewind. Where's the coach at? Did you not see what his players just did? Why you acting so shocked, right?
I stopped talking too much. I just left. So hold right there, bam, boom.
I'm surprised none of his teammates did anything. That's good. I'm glad they didn't.
He was like, "What did I do?"
Score the basket. White.
Do that again, you got cut off.
Score the basket. White. 20. Push.
I like that. I like the way your hands started. You pull them back to your shoulders, and then you extend them all the way. Full range of motion, right? Because the more range of motion we have, the more like defined the signal looks. The less we use, the less it looks like an actual foul, right? Because if you just do a little push, that's not a foul.
I had it right here first.
That's a good starting point to your push. It's almost like you're doing a push-up. If you were on the ground right now, that would be the natural push-up position.
So, white. 20. Push.
Good, really good.
But after you call a foul, your run to the table is just a little geeky. It's just a little geeky. Just I want it to be a little smoother. Call the foul, clear the players, jog to the table, stop, report 11, hit 2. Okay. All right, the boys are back for day 2. Slept in a little today, Ryan. What happened?
The alarm went off, and we both said, "No, we need another hour."
Ryan's alarm came in the form of a slap to his bed with my right hand. All right, bud, it's time. But there was no panic. We woke up at 7:30, hopped in the shower. Ryan grabbed 2 quick strawberries.
And a muffin.
There you go. Getting ready for, we got 2 games today. Yesterday we only worked 1. A little different this camp. Normally camps you're working 8 games probably in a weekend. This camp's, less work, but better quality hopefully, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of classroom. We learn from, especially with the drills and everything.
All right, we're going right here. You're my navigator. So you were frustrated yesterday, right, in your game. Why were you frustrated?
I didn't think like I said, you don't judge yourself during the game, and I did. And then you go back on film and you're like,
right?
Yeah, and to me it was like a great half.
There you go. Those are those head games. You know, you're in your own head thinking, you know, perceiving the game one way. But even if you are having a terrible game, you need to move on and you know, not worry about those previous plays. But in this case, it was all an illusion. So, yeah, you're learning.
It's hey, right?
What do you want to work on today?
Body posture. That's number one. And then number two, there's positioning at the lead. So I was going too far.
Too far where?
Back.
Okay, so you're too deep.
Yeah, while I was running or while I was stopping, like I caught myself and I would move up, but I want to stop right there. I need to keep my body under control. And so you know, too much depth. So those are the two things.
What do you think was wrong with your posture? What do you think you did?
Just my body language. I mean, it's always been a habit of mine. Just to, you can tell me like what I'm thinking just by my body sometimes, and that's something I need to fix.
Well, that's common for everybody. For instance, you know, yesterday just watching your court for a game, I saw a play that Jake had, and I could tell right away that he didn't like it. When I talked to him after the game, he was like, "Oh, I hate it." So our body reveals what our mind is thinking a lot of the times. It's a really nice facility, Liberty U. We're about to hit up that gym today too. Free fitness facility.
That's pretty nice. Did you see the upstairs?
I did.
That was. I was wondering where all the racks were, and then next thing you know, I was like, shoot.
Yeah, it's really spread out
right here. Around about
the loop-de-loop. Snoop-a-loop.
So what are you working on in your game today?
Just being authoritative when it's my, you know, time in the game to step up, you know, with my voice. At camp, they just want to hear your voice. They want to hear you being loud. And that doesn't mean screaming and, you know, being overly aggressive, but just having that command out there. I want to showcase my command pretty much. So just finding ways to do that. Ryan, coming off the fresh ejection, the play of the week. How you feeling, buddy?
Man, I've learned so much, especially after that. Once you mess up the procedures after, you're just like, oh man, you can go in your mindset. Once I get that down, sky's the limit.
Young Ryan is learning. Let's take a look at the clip, folks. Check it out.
Bam. Boom. That's it.
I'm also trying to help all referees. I'm not trying to hurt anybody or say, hey, you're not a prospect, you know, I'm done, I'll see you. Or someone that is a very good official, but just like hitters, they have hitting coaches. So it's the same thing here as you know, and so on. To train your eyes and take your time. So now I'm going to be the coach. I'm going to give the response, okay? And then you know, respond any way you want. They just watch you. Now there was the illegal screen. They never saw that. White, 11. Hit. 3 shots. Every time you referee, you never get a fair shake. Every single time.
I like that they pointed out like the 5 most common signals, and you know, instead of just trying to think of it as too many things going on, just work on the 5 most common. So we got hit, push, hold, block, charge. So for hits, after we're presenting the numbers, a little tip is to kind of transition to that off arm. Here, white 24, hit. And then it's just a strike, and I like to let it sit for a second.
Good to be a part of the camp. It's good to be involved with him and watching him pursue something that he loves and sit back and watch him grow.
You said he's been repping since 12?
He has officially been reffing since 12. He was a small kid. Even at after his little games, he would follow the ref around. And he started with us. Whenever he got 12, he would walk behind us, and eventually, versus he was kind of a shadow of me, and then he got to where I would shadow him, and that's kind of how he grew into it.
Nice to finally meet you, man.
Nice to finally meet you, sir.
You were one of the early Crown Refs supporters. Got a whistle early on. 4 years later, I meet you at camp.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. One of my guys from Crown Refs really helped me with his podcast, especially the ones that were really shocking. The one at Joey Crawford, Scott Foster. You know, all of them podcasts are real much important, and it helped me. Help me throughout my games and stuff. Camp, this time, this is the perfect time to make your mistakes, and we're all going to learn from them. Okay? We all have goals, we all have dreams we're going to go to, and we want to shoot to the highest level. And 9 times out of 10, we're going to get there. Okay? It's okay to make your mistakes. I'm not going to get every call right, but we work the best to our ability. Okay? And it's always a pleasure to run with the players, to communicate with my partners, and it's also, it's just an enjoyable moment. So enjoy every moment of officiating. Enjoy the season. Enjoy off season if you work at AAU and some of the games. But the 3 words always is to serve the game.
You set it up. I love it. That was fire. That was dope, bro. Mr. Doc. What up, Doc?
What's up, boss? How you feeling?
Anybody say what up, Doc, to you?
Oh, all the time.
That's kind of generic.
People don't even know us. It's like, they know us by either twin or Doc, so that's what it is.
So I was just tell us real quickly about your story. I mean, your dad is a ref. You have a twin brother who's a ref. You were just telling me you might want to start a referee podcast with your twin. We got to make that happen. Talk.
No, I got you. I was in high school. I was like, you know what? I'm 5'8", so I'm probably not going to go to the next level. And I just wanted to still be involved with the game, so I got into officiating. I was 17. Me and my brother both got into it, and then the rest is history from there. Other than that, like, I have a twin brother, like Paul said, and we're thinking about doing a refereeing podcast. Like, why not? Why not?
Great. And maybe a good first step into that was doing an IPR like we talked about.
Absolutely.
You and your brother, which would be super unique.
Hey, look, it's all about seeing what you look like on the court, right? You never know until you see, so why not?
And your dad's here working too, right?
He is. He actually just worked, but I learned everything from him.
It's great, man. Great family, the Doc family. I wish your brother was here. Tell him I said hello.
I will.
And just real quick, what stage you at in your career? You're working college?
Yeah, I'm at JUCO level college right now. We're going to camp right now for D2, and we're at a D1 camp right now. But I'm trying to just absorb as much as possible. If I can learn anything at the camp, that's a plus. So that's how I'm seeing it.
You got a great attitude, man. I want to continue to help you along the way, for sure.
Thank you. Listen to our Crown Refs podcast.
Watching Khalil Doc here, as a few moments ago we got a chance to hear his courtside conversation, and he actually edited and post-produced this film that you're watching. So big shout out to the whole Doc family, including his dad Harvey and his twin brother Karan, as they have such a bright future ahead of them. I wanted to finish really strong here on day 3 of the camp and try to leave a lasting impression on the clinicians, but at the same time have fun and enjoy myself and the process.
Hey, nice shirt, buddy. Best dressed guy in here. Looking sharp.
My name's Scott, and I'm a referee from Massachusetts. And I was referred through Crown Refs to the Journey camp hosted by Roger Ayers. And when I reached out to Roger, he said, how did I find out about the camp coming from Massachusetts? And I said, I heard through Crown Refs. And he said he really respected everything that Paul's doing. So I thought I should share that with the audience.
Appreciate that. Did you get it through the newsletter, or you heard it on the podcast? How'd you?
Through the newsletter.
Okay,
I
good.
got a screenshot with all the information, Crown Refs referring to the Journey, and so I reached out to Roger that way and got connected.
Which part of the content you find most helpful, and which parts of your game you looking to improve the most?
I find like the conflict resolution is the most helpful, because I find that those are topics that all referees really struggle with early on, and we're still trying to grow and get better with. So like talking to coaches, communication skills, those are the ones that I found have helped my game. Just kind of taking key phrases and implementing that into the game.
Awesome. So I appreciate your support, man. I appreciate you reaching out and initiating this interaction, and looking forward to helping you in the future as well.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Our boy Ryan, wearing his glasses, recording the game. Gonna watch the footage after.
You're better than you think you are. That's what I want to build you up. Don't bring people down and crush people. Like when I ref with people, the tricks I talked about yesterday, when I would say something like, you know what, great call, Paul. That's a big time call, Paul.
Yeah.
And I didn't even see what you had, but if the coach thinks a veteran on the crew says, well, Paul got it right, I think he missed it, but Roger said he got it right, he must have got it right. Those are all little things. I know when I was coming up, if I worked with the Tim Higgins of the world, or the Jim Burrs, or the John Cales, or the Brian Kersey's, if I'd make a tough call and everybody's booing, the coaches are yelling, and they would just come by, good call, kid, great call, kiddo, big time call, Raj. No one did. They probably didn't mean it, but at that moment, if John Cale said great call, Raj, I'm like, well, yeah.
It's so true. That's a real thing.
We've all been there. And sometimes it might be just a pound leg, great call, kid. Nobody saw it but you, but how you feel inside, because you're starting to think, you're reporting the foul, and you're thinking, my partner didn't like the call. I mean, now everybody's against me, but if that partner says, that's a big time call. Yeah. So I learned that. So you know what? I know how it made me feel. So now if I had a game with you this year in the ACC and I said, Paul, great call, you're going to think, Roger likes it. And after the game, as I said, we could talk about it, but at that moment, for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, you feel it. You're like, I'm ready to ref this game. And if you make your partners better, you're going to be better.
Back in the lab, Ryan watching his game film. He wore these today at a camp. Do you know any other camper to ever wear glasses and record himself at a camp? Nope. You're the first one.
So he told me on fast breaks, on that one too, he told me to help out with the partner. But he said on fast breaks, I was reaching across. I didn't reach across, but I was looking across just because I had a good view instead of looking at people right next to me. What's your take on that?
Well, you just got to make sure you're watching the players in your primary and not having wandering eyes all over the court. Did he say that you were ball watching?
Yeah, well, it's just because I just had a good view, and I didn't see. I could see my partner at the corner of my eye, but he wasn't like kind of close to the plate a few times. So I was like, oh, should I help out? Like he wasn't like this.
No need to show two shots on the spot of an obvious foul. Just call the foul. Wait there for a second. Let the players clear. Let your partner come, and then just go report it.
My clock awareness and game awareness was terrible because of I didn't look at the clock that much. It was hard to see it.
Were there any clock issues throughout the game?
Oh no, we were good.
That's a good tip.
No one cares about what you did last year. And I used this example last night. If you go to I challenge the campers, go to Starbucks tomorrow morning, and the guy behind you say, sir, I'll buy you the largest coffee you want, and I'll give you $1,000. All you got to do is tell me one ref who worked the Final Four this year. 99.9% of the country will go, what are we talking about? Yeah, exactly. Because nobody cares. If you ask most coaches, they don't care. If you go shake your coach's hand this upcoming season, they're not going to say, oh, yeah, Paul, I saw you last man. You were big time. That's great to see you. They're like, no, Paul, you got to be good tonight. They don't care about yesterday. They're so focused on this game and their team and the winning. They're so officials sometimes we're our own worst enemy. If we listen to all the pats on the back we get about how great we are, you're going to start to be complacent. So,
what'd you think of watching your guys in the later rounds, Final Four, championship game?
Almost more nervous than if I'd been working, because you want them to do so well. We're all obviously competitive. All refs are competitive. All refs want to work the last game, like I talked about last night. There's only one ref who's truly happy at the end of the season, the guy who throws up the national championship. But I think at the higher levels of officiating, guys pull for each other. Now, there are some that don't. Let's be honest with each other. There's jealousy in officiating. But I think the top guys, the circle that I try to hang out with, we are actually happy for each other. There were guys who were in Indianapolis working games, who would text me every day or call me every day. And I'm like, look, man, you're in this bubble. You don't need to worry about me. You need to concentrate on what you're doing. They're like, no, Roger, I'm checking on you. And that made me feel like, you know what, maybe the things how I was raised with my parents, maybe being this good person, there are people who really do care. There were, as I said, a lot of coaches would text me and say, Roger, I don't know if I should be doing this, but I want to text you and say, I hope you're okay. I hope if you need anything at all, you let us know. It just made me feel like, you know what, maybe this isn't such a bad business.
Mr. Ryan, we had a chance to do a signal school virtually, and now we have the great honor to do it in person. So I want to run through 5 or 6 of the core signals that we spoke about this weekend. Just that base of the most common ones that we normally use throughout a game. So we'll go hit, hold, push, lock, player control, and maybe anything else you want to work on. So let's go hit first. Let's check out your hit.
All right. Numbers 2. Let's do numbers.
Numbers into hit.
Give me a number. Give me numbers.
You pick.
All right. White 4 hit.
See you again.
White 4 hit.
Pretty solid. I was gonna say I didn't like the way your arm. So just monitor that we're not hitting it too far out, because the first one looked a little exaggerated.
Right there. Not too far out, just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, when I do it, I just like to strike, just hold it for an extra second. And remember with the hit, we have 4 options, right? We have the left side up top, right side up top. Remember, we got to be ambidextrous. You got to be lefty and righty. All right, Mr. Ryan, camp is up. Just had your 4th and final game. How do you feel, sir?
Feeling good. I had 2 really tough games, and that really helped me grow a lot because, man, I've never experienced some of the stuff that happened in the games, and now we learn from it. Now I have my glasses on, so now I have film and the glasses to compare with.
The glasses are about to take the industry by storm. I'm just calling it right now. I see a lot of traction, a lot of people coming up to you about it. But let me ask you, what made it tough? Let's get specific. What did you never experience in that game?
Well, just case. It was like to the casebook to the T almost. It's like casebook plays to the T, and I was trying to pull it out of my casebook brain, like
your head case.
My head casebook, yes. And so that was great. It was a good learning experience because I think we'd said yesterday you had a hole, and then next you know, boom, flagrant technical on the dude Raptor that got fouled. So it was good, and everything just went up. The little stuff that I needed to work on to improve my court presence, the stuff that I didn't notice before, it's like everybody brought awareness to me about it. And then by the end of the game, the dude who was doing both of our games, he came up to me and said, you were so relaxed, looked really good out there. And I made an emphasis on it in my head, and I think that really helped a lot.
I think you're going to feel a difference the next group of games that you go work back in your hometown.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to get in front of the mirror. I mean, I was talking to...
By the way, I got off the wrong exit then, so we'll do a whole loop again.
Let me shout out Daniel Wynn for this one. And he...
Show a picture of Daniel right here, please.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we talked a little bit yesterday, and we're just getting to the gym, finding a mirror to work out, like going to the studio and just working on looking at your whole body language, pretend you're reporting, and I think that's going to help me a lot, just seeing myself in the mirror, full body, practicing my footwork, practicing and everything like that. It's gonna elevate my game. That's what I'm missing right now. So
this kid, man, don't you wish you had his fire at 19? I can't tell you the things I was doing at 19.
You were hooping.
I was hooping. I was getting buckets. Holy buckets. Make sure you go check out Refs Can Ball Volume 1 and Volume 2.
I got you. Show the highlight right now.
You're getting good at this.
Can I ask you a question?
Anything you want.
What was your takeaway from the camp?
I mean, many takeaways. Number one, Roger established an incredible culture from the moment he introduced himself to everybody, to the vibes he gave off, to his body language and his charisma and charm. I mean, I got a little bit deeper of a look on why he is where he is.
Yeah.
You can't see it on the court to its highest extent. You gotta meet him in person and kind of see how he moves, and the way his clinicians all promoted that culture, of wanting to give back and focusing on the game. No one's on their phones. No campers are really talking to clinicians as they're working. So that was one takeaway. Just a great overall camp experience, really well run. And then, you know, to be able to meet so many people from the audience and have them share the feedback on how the content has helped improve their game is really special. And I think this is one of the reasons why I came down. It's a really unique experience. And I was telling that to Roger. I said, Roger, this is a very unique experience that, you know, a ref comes to camp and has a platform like this. He goes, no, this has never happened. He goes, ever. So, you know, I'm grateful for that, and I'm blessed, and that's why I wanted to come down and meet everybody in person. So those are some of my thoughts.
I wanted to say that, wow, you made a great point where, like, you weren't with the clinicians, but I remember watching your games. I went to most of your games. They had 2 clinicians on each court, so while one was instructing, and then right when he told you, I could still sit there and ask, okay, what, like, real quick, what were you thinking right there? What did you tell Paul? What did you tell?
That was great.
And I think that's what, like, they were willing to talk to us while they're still, you know, monitoring. I think that was...
Yeah, so Ryan got a few clips of me in the game and a few plays that I had, a few no calls that I had.
Oh, yeah,
and he filmed it, and then he asked the clinician, why is this not a foul? So it was really cool that they got to kind of look at the replay. Ryan learned why it was not a foul, offensive initiated contact on a legal defender. Yeah. So any other takeaways from watching me work that you might have picked up?
Like I said, every time I watch him work, the most patient whistle in the game. He'll sit there for about 3 or 4 seconds almost, it feels like. And then, oh, nope, we're going the other way. And it's the best thing to watch.
You know what it is? I've always been very unattracted to soft calls, like non-fouls that we call offensive initiated contact or incidental contact or marginal, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, it comes down to this. I have to be 100% every time I blow my whistle. And if I'm 99%, then I'm 0%.
Yeah. One more thing about the camp. I would say Roger did a great job with the camp. He great person. Yeah. He's always saying I'm an average official, but I always want to be a great person. And I think that was the biggest takeaway from the camp. And I saw that from every camper that I met. Like they were great officials, but they were better people.
He's an average official.
Yeah.
And but an expert communicator.
Yeah.
And his charisma and him being a good person is why he's where he's at. So.
Yeah, he says he's not as good, but I think he's one of the best. A little humble.
All right, let's go check out.
It's amazing what that's all about, but it's all part of our journey, and that's what this camp is about, the journey.
I appreciate your time. I know you have a lot of campers coming in, and I want to get to them. This is part of my new platform for officials called Patreon, so this is a private group. Is there anything you want to say in closing to the officials that are watching?
No, but thank you very much for listening to Crown Refs. I'm one of his biggest fans, and I hope you guys pick up some great tips here. If you ever need anything at all, Paul has my contact info. He'll get it to you. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and let's go Crown Refs.
And sorry
serve the game.
Thank you. And sorry that this camera doesn't show your hair as well as it should have. That's my fault.
Well, if I move over here, God, my hair looks better than yours.
Have a great day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to the Crown Refs Podcast. Serve the game.